do you really want to be successful? Because there's a price to pay for that. There's a big price to pay, and the price is time and stress, and you got to deal with the responsibility of what you brought in now. My definition would be someone who has all of it. You need to have friends. You need to have your hopefully a family if you can.
Le domaine du courtage est en constante évolution. Dans une ère technologique où le changement est presque assuré et inévitable, il faut plus que jamais rester à jour et s'adapter aux tendances innovatrices de notre domaine. Vous voulez apprendre des meilleurs courtiers hypothécaires et immobiliers du Québec? Vous voulez devenir un leader dans le courtage? Voici le podcast qu'il vous faut. Les courtiers du Québec avec Seroujan Kenishalingam.
Hello, Louis. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. For those who don't know Louis Vouloumanos, I got it right. Perfect. So Louis was the #1 TD specialist for how many years?
I was #1 for 5 years.
5 years,
at
man.
TD Bank. That's right.
Not just #1 in Quebec.
No, #1 in Canada.
In just Ontario. No, not even Ontario. The whole Canada.
The whole country, man.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, guys, this podcast is gonna be amazing. We're gonna learn a lot from Louis, who sold just one bank, and he was #1. Imagine what you could do now with all those banks you have.
I'm hoping.
You're excited?
Yeah. I'm excited to learn. I'm excited for the future, for sure.
Yeah. So how long have you been a broker now?
So officially, I've been a broker for just about a couple of months right now.
Couple of months, okay.
And, I joined Dominion Lending. So
Congrats.
I was with Toronto Dominion. So now, Toronto's gone. I'm just with Dominion Lending.
Is it like you really thought of
I love
that?
the name. I love the name. No, but they reached out to me. So we struck a deal, and I'm with them now. I'm very happy.
Wow, crazy. I'm really happy that you're on the other side now.
Yeah, the darker side.
Darker side. What do you mean? What do you mean? So Louis, tell me about yourself first. Where you grown up, and how did you start in the mortgage industry?
Okay, so I'm from a Greek background. I grew up in Laval, Chambéry, Laval.
Yeah.
I was pretty much grew up there my whole life. How did I get into mortgages? I mean, when I was in university, I was studying finance at Concordia, and I honestly had no idea what I wanted to do. I did not like sitting in an office and just not talking to people and being crunching numbers. That wasn't my thing. I liked the people interaction. And for some reason, I always got attracted to banks because I always figured banks are, always around people, and there's a personal touch to it and customer service and all that stuff. And I always wanted to wear a suit coming into work, so I said, "Let me try out the bank when I finish school." So that's how I wound up there. And my first job was at actually TD Bank, my first official bank job.
And then you started mortgage a little later.
Yeah, I started at TD doing what's called an FSR. It's like an entry level level one personal banker. Then after that, I got promoted very quickly. So after 1 year, I was promoted to a financial advisor, which is a second level, similar to what you're doing, but at a higher level. With more responsibility. I did that for 2 years, and I got promoted again. And that's when I moved over to small business banking. And small business banking at the bank at that time was very it was a job where you actually have to hunt your business. It wasn't you're not getting walk-ins or anything like that. So literally, I was they switched me to another branch. So I was working in the branch in Park Extension, and
my hood.
very very exactly very very busy branch. A lot of walk-ins. You don't really have to chase your clients; they're coming there. Easy to sell, easy to cross-sell, easy to give them services, but I moved over to Côte Vertu, which is where I spent the next 10 years of my career after that.
That's where I saw you.
That's where we met, yeah. So when I was there, I was a small business advisor. But the difference was that I got thrown into a completely different area, and it was a completely different demographic. And the most important thing is it was a completely different role. I had to literally start from scratch and hunt and try to develop business as a small business advisor. So what I was doing is financing small businesses, like semi-commercial properties and stuff like that, like restaurants in the food court. When you go to Carrefour Laval and you see all those restaurants, we were doing that too. It was a very interesting job, but the part of that job that gave me the confidence to become a mortgage guy was the fact that I went into something completely different. and I actually succeeded very much doing that. I was within a a year or so, I was one of the best in Quebec too. Without me, really, I didn't know. I honestly had no idea I was one of the best until like the end of the year. I was just working, man. Like I wasn't. For me, I wouldn't look at the scorecards or anything like that. I was just doing my job.
So what's the,
So
I'm sorry. Go on.
yeah, go ahead. No, so basically, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I was good at that job, and that gave me the confidence to then jump over to mortgages later on.
And what's the difference, like being a mortgage broker and being a financial advisor, small loan?
Yeah,
advisor,
mortgage. Yeah, well, mortgage specialist and mortgage broker. Or
no, I'm talking about like your back then, like
back then. You mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm talking about that financial advisor, small loans. Then you changed.
Yeah, the difference was I had a salary. So every job I had until mortgage specialist.
Yeah.
So I had 3 salaries. The first job was financial services representative. Then I was a financial advisor. Then I became a small business advisor. All those 3 roles were salaried roles. I had a base salary and a bonus. So it was a very safe, secure type of job. Absolutely. And I was climbing the ranks and, jumping over to mortgages, there's no pay. You don't get paid, right? So you only get paid if you get a mortgage in. So the difference was, when I decided after about a year of small business, a year and a half, I said, you know what, I want to try being a mortgage specialist, see if I can do this again. And, if I can develop my own business again and reinvent myself again,
that's what you're doing right now.
And that's what I'm doing again. This would be another.
You'd love to be out of your comfort zone.
I don't know if I love it, but I've gotten comfortable with it. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable.
It's great. Great quote. And like, what was my question? It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
So now you're a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Let me go back. So when you started as a mortgage specialist, like, how was the beginning? Like, how did you develop your business? How did you go get your clientele?
Yeah.
How was it?
So it was really tough, especially the first year. So if anybody is looking to do this type of work, you got to literally tell yourself that for 1 year to 2 years, you're going to pretty much live in fear all the time. And you're going to have to, mentally prepare yourself for rejection.
Okay.
And fluctuation of income, right? Because you're going to have a good month and you may have a bad month. So you got to, be able to stabilize yourself and budget yourself, right? It was tough. So my strategy, I didn't know what I was doing, but I said, let me just keep working hard. But my strategy at that time was to spend half the day developing, contacting real estate agents, introducing myself, giving out my cards. Literally, I was doing that from in the morning. So the first part of my day, from 8 to 12, I would do my files. I didn't have many then. So, one file, even if I had every couple of days. And then the rest of the day, the afternoon, it was all phone calls and development. So my goal was to call 5 agents a day.
5 agents a day.
5 agents a day.
Half of your day.
Every single day. I did that for, weeks and weeks, months, and then years. And I just kept on. Took a while though. Like at the beginning, nobody knew who I was, right? So I was just a new guy, whatever. But over the years, right? So if I shake your hand today and I see you 3 months later, now, oh, okay, I remember you. I met you at this office at that time. You're no longer a stranger. And then a year later, when you have a file, it's like, oh, okay, you're still doing mortgages. Okay, I remember, maybe we'll cross paths during a transaction. And that's what takes years to develop, and then people getting comfortable with you. And then, you're slowly, you develop a reputation. How long
have you been doing this?
I started in 2010, so 11 years. 11 years, excuse
11
me.
years, okay.
11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
11 years. And when was your, what year you become the first in Canada?
Okay, after 2.5 years, or I believe 2.5 years, I was number 1 in Quebec. And then I was number 1 in Quebec for about 3 years, three or four. And then I was number 1 in Canada for 5 years. But in reality, I was actually number 1 for 6 years because there's two different metrics. There's transactions and there's volume.
Yeah.
So if you're doing, I did the most transactions in 6 years in a row, like actual transactions.
And how much was that? How many was that?
250 million of volume.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But my last year, even though I did 250 million and 600 mortgages, I think there was another colleague of mine that did less transactions than me, but did more volume because of he was located in Ontario, had the higher mortgages there.
Yeah.
So he actually passed me when it came to volume. So I was number one 6 years for actual transactions and 5 years for volume.
Are you saying like you become number one in 2 years, and by just taking half of your day talking to realtors and developing businesses, meeting people, and then that's your secret sauce? Are you?
But the thing is, I worked, man. Like I was. That's part of it because what happens is we always what I've told people before is, do you really want to be successful? Because there's a price to pay for that. There's a big price to pay, and the price is time and stress, and you got to deal with the responsibility of what you brought in now. Because if you're developing and you want to be known as one of the best, you may not have your Tuesday night TV night, or you know what I mean. You may not have that weekend to go up north because you have to work that weekend. And that's the sacrifice. Understand. And you may not sleep 8 hours a night, or you may not be able to go out for dinner on Thursday night because you got to work, and you got to work till 11 p.m. That was my sacrifice for this job. I believed in the work, and I sacrificed that for years. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. sometimes just to work on files, man. And
how's your life now?
Look, now it's after many years of experience, I've learned that I can't do it all by myself. So I kept on hiring and training a team. At one point last year at TD, I had 6 assistants.
Wow.
So I'm probably one of the first that hired and trained.
Yeah.
And I realized that the more I hired, the more I was able to work, and the more files I was able to bring in, and the better the service was. So if I get 50, let's say 50 files in a month, they're all getting done quickly, because I have the manpower for it.
And you also had the time for yourself more? Maybe?
I had more time for myself, yeah. But yes, I did.
What do you mean?
Yes,
what do you mean? What are you scratching for?
The truth is, man, like if you want to be really not for something great, you're gonna give up a lot of time, and that's a sacrifice.
Are you a family man?
A family man, yes.
So how it looks like how did you manage your family time with business wise?
It was tough. My wife was very understanding. She still is understanding because of she knew that these were my goals, but at the end of the day, I always made time for the family. I saw my kids every day, like at least for 2 hours, and on the weekends I spent time with them. But there were times where I would go home. I'll give you an example of my days for years. This is for years, not even weeks, years. Wake up at 5, at the office at 6. Come home at 6, so that's 12 straight hours of work. 6 to 8, eat, play with the kids. 8 to 12, get back on the computer.
So that's where you were working just by yourself?
Even when I had 2 assistants, I was doing that.
Crazy.
Yeah, but it's because you don't know that that's like at that time I did not know that that was not sustainable as what I was doing. It just didn't make any sense. I had to hire more and invest more and when you hire someone, it costs a lot of money, right? So you got to that's the fear part that you have to get over, and I did. And I said, if I need 4 assistants, I'll hire 4. So I kept on hiring, and the opposite happened. I thought my expenses were gonna grow, which they did because I had more staff, but my income kept on growing as well. So it's investing in your time in your business, right?
So you were saying like yes, you put more expenses, but the revenue, the income was growing also.
The income was growing, yes. Yeah. The income was growing.
I can relate to that. Yeah. Like I was scared also in the beginning, but look, I have a full-time cameraman that works with me.
Yeah.
I have an intern analyst, not from the back. I also have assistant who do all the follow-ups, and like it took some time to decide to do that, but once I did, man, on the other side, the income started to grow. And the best thing to do, you're
investing in your business. You're investing in your clients and your reputation.
And right? The mortgage is a business. Being a mortgage broker or a mortgage specialist is a business, right? Yeah. So you said like before the podcast, I asked you like what's the percentage of your business come from brokers, your past client, and you said 60% are on there, right? That comes from brokers.
I'm not sure because I haven't really done the metrics, but if I had to guess, that would be between 50 and 60% from brokers.
Yeah. So you have a lot of brokers partner that send you business.
Yeah.
My question is, why they send you business to you, Okay, obviously relationship, you build relationship and stuff like that, but like anybody, like a lot of people try to build relationship, you know, and a lot of realtors, they're bombarded with a lot of mortgage brokers and mortgage specialists that want to have their business.
Yeah.
Like, how did you make a difference in their life?
Yeah. Okay, so I think there's 3 different parts there.
Yeah.
One of them is obviously the most important one is what you can actually do, because they trust that you're going to work quickly and you're going to know what you're doing. So that's I would say that's the first 2. And the last one would be personality. Like, meaning if you're, you know, getting along and you're able to have fun working with someone, because, you know, you can be a very dry, you know, I'm sure you've met people like this. They're very dry, no personality at all, but they're really like good at their work. Those people are having a hard time being salespeople, right?
Yeah.
So if you combine that talent, talent, or, you know, whatever it's, talent, you would say, and with the execution and the knowledge to do a file, because you need to get the files done quickly and you need to get them done properly. So if you combine those 3 together, you have a winning combination, right? Yeah. So for me, that's what I would say. That the first part would be that I was really accurate with my work. Somebody send me a file, I would rather not sleep than do it, especially the first few years.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
No, you gotta stand behind your product, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you gotta stand behind your name. So if I gotta lose 2 hours of sleep because I'm doing a file, I'm gonna lose 2 hours of sleep.
Okay, so basically you get a business. Okay, you're not scared to work on the file right away.
No.
But my question is, like, you know, with delays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's out of your control.
Out of your control. Yeah, correct.
And how do you explain to the brokers and still keep the broker with you?
Yeah, that's a tough one. But, you know, what I tell them is, guys, I have 10 banks. They're all the same. Like, where are you going to go? They're all the same. All the banks are late now. You know, it's between 1 to 4 weeks to do a file, maybe sometimes longer. You could take 6 weeks in some lenders, right? I've even seen 8, you know, with the B lenders sometimes.
Crazy.
Refinance, whatever. They
goes refinance. Yeah, right now they're
sometimes more than that,
putting on the side the refinance files right now.
Yeah, exactly. They put them all on the side. So, you know, I think the good brokers know and understand. And at the same time, you know, our job is to mediate and to, you know, make the brokers understand that, yes, there's delays. But at the same time, if we got to push the lenders a little bit and say, guys, come on, this is a purchase. I have a condition of financing date. I need it done by Friday. They have to know, and we got to, you know, keep politely pushing them as much as we could.
As long as they know that you're pushing the file and you're not just turning your how do you say that, fingers?
Yeah, exactly. So, I go as far as telling them I emailed them on this time or this date, and I'm just waiting. There's only so much you can do. I mean, at that point, but you know, you're not you know that you're not alone. Someone else is going through the exact same thing. So that I still go through that.
Do you do anything special with the brokers, like beside like answering fast and quickly working on the file?
I don't know, golfing or something, or like
I don't know. Like, is there anything that you do differently?
To be honest with you, I find that, like, you know, like whining and dining and schmoozing and all that stuff doesn't really do anything, because at the end of the day, you're there. Like, I'll give an example. When I first met brokers, I would never do lunch, because I'm meeting a stranger and I'm going to sit with this stranger for 1 hour. I have lunch, and really at the end, all I want to do is give him my business card. This is what I do. If you would like to work together, call me. So I said, why do I need 1 hour of his time, right? Or her time and my time just to say that. So I said, okay, really, I want to get my message across in 2 minutes max, right? So I would do coffee. Say, okay. And you know what? I was more successful with coffee, because if you tell someone let's do lunch, they're like, frick, I'm too busy, man. I got a million things going on in my day. Can I meet you for coffee for 5 minutes, 10 minutes? It's hard for them to say no. Then they say no, you ask one more time, they say no again, then maybe you move on to someone else, right? So that was my thing. I would do coffee, and I would like.
Okay, let's say we do a role play.
Yeah, right. Role play.
So I'm the realtor. You call me and I want to have a coffee with you.
Yeah.
What exactly you say? Like, give me in few words. Like,
okay, hi, my name is Louis. I'm a mortgage broker. I work for Dominion Lending. I've been a mortgage broker for 2 months. I've been a mortgage specialist for 10 years. I have tons of experience. I'd like to work with you. Do you have 5 minutes for a quick coffee? I won't take too much of your time. I just want to give you my business card. That's it.
Close. Here are my files.
Keep it simple, man. I mean, like, sometimes we think, like, overthinking things, we overthink and then we don't do. Like, excuse me. If you overthink of, okay, this is my strategy of I'm going to do this that way, and you plan out this whole platform, and then you just don't action it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, you imagine you creating this like Excel sheet or this whole thing and an idea. Just get on the phone and call 5 people, man. It's a lot quicker and easier.
I still don't get it. Like to become number one, you gotta do so much files and so much leads has to come in.
Yeah.
Like, what's the secret sauce, man?
Yeah.
Like, how, like you got to have, man,
like,
did the bank send you business also? Like, I
well,
guess
for sure we had a small portion of it coming from the bank.
Yeah.
That was actually towards the end. The beginning years we were, so the last 2 years the bank worked out a referral program to give us deals. Before that, it was no, you cannot. It was the opposite. You cannot take deals as a referral from anybody at the bank, because our job is to go out and hunt new business. So really, the answer would be no. And only the last couple of years we had the bank come up with this referral program but like I said, the majority of the business it came from relationships that built over the years. Client, like for example, I do a mortgage for a customer. He remembers me. He sends me to his sister. His sister remembers me. She sends me to her neighbor. The realtor that sent me the first guy remembers me. He introduced me to another realtor. Just this big snowball of business that just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing that you would never imagine.
So I understand that clients also send you business, your past clients.
Yeah.
So now obviously, with your personality,
Yeah.
Like I told you before, you got that Scarface voice,
Yeah.
You're very convincing. So look at this guy. He's in a podcast and his phone is still ringing. What time is it? 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
I feel you. But tell me,
yes.
how does it look like a transaction with you? Like, okay, I'll come to see you. You find me a product, a rate.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the process? Like, tell me, like, what's the customer experience, the client experience?
Okay.
Like, obviously, for the client to send you a bit more business, he has to be happy.
Yes.
Is he happy because you get the best rate? Is he happy because you get the product? And you were working with one bank before, right? So how did you make it? Like, as a broker, I have so many options, and still, like, you were with just one bank, you become that you had as much success.
Correct. Yeah. Well, you find your niche, right? Inside the bank has its niche of clients that you know. So when I'm on the phone, I know right away. Okay, I can't do the deal. Unfortunately, I cannot help you. I tell them right away if I think I can't do it.
So,
or if I think I can,
say no if you can't.
If you can't, just you're better off telling them this won't fit. You're gonna waste your time, and then you're not gonna like me very much.
And so, they will understand. Brokers will understand. Listen, man. You can do it. Like, that's not my problem. It's like the
bank's policy. I mean, whatever. You don't. I can tell people. I worked at the bank. I didn't own the bank, so it's not my decision on what they have certain types of files that they want. Every bank has that. And we, as a broker, we have to gauge where we send what, right?
Yeah. So this is something that's very important for those who are listening. Don't be scared to say no, right? Don't be scared to say no. And brokers will understand what kind of files they like, and they will send you those files to you because they love your product. And that's something that I always tell brokers also, because my business comes from mortgage brokers, right? I do B lending and private lending, and I tell them, listen, it's going to take more time for you to handle this file than work with me. It's going to be easier, faster. This is what I do every day. Yeah. So you say no. Don't be scared to say no.
Correct. Correct. I agree with that. You know what business you're after. You create a niche for yourself, right?
And
just like you did.
And so what was the niche like in the
a TD? You mean?
Yeah.
TD. They're an A bank, right? So they deal with
like there's BMO, there's Scotia, there's Desjardins, there's all those banks. But what was your niche?
Good question. I mean, we had to, when somebody has, let's say, multiple properties too, right? If you have, let's say, 2-3 properties, it's hard to really start the file with another bank and go through the whole process again. When you're dealing with an expert, if I own 2 condos, I'm buying a third one. Now you already submitted a whole bunch of paperwork, your tax bills, all that stuff. So up front, I talk about rates. This is what I'm going to offer you. This is what we're going to do. We discuss if it's a refinance, how much I think I can get for the property. If it's a purchase, the closing date, all that stuff. The client has an idea where we're headed. I know what I'm doing with the deal. And my success ratio was good. I was like, meaning closing almost all the deals I would get.
I just want to understand. So let's say that those two properties that the client has is with TD, so it's easier. Or you're talking about
sometimes it'd be with other banks.
And why is it faster? Like why is it be less complicated with you?
The difference with me was the turnaround time. You come to me for a deal because I had the manpower. I had 6 assistants. Don't forget. So what I say, I can handle 6 new files a day. Right? That's a lot. And one of the people is going to have time to actually take on that file. So that was one of the biggest things, because I would get files from people saying, I'm waiting for this person. They're too slow. They didn't call me back. My job was to be on the phone. That's what I do. My assistants do the files. I review them, but my job is to be on the phone, answering calls, answering texts, trying to get the business
follow-ups.
Yeah, because the biggest complaint ever, if you look even today, are I'm not followed up with, and nobody's returning my call. And the reason for that is because the broker has so much work, they don't have the time to do all that. So they have to decide, do I return this guy or this woman's call, or do I actually work on their file? Right?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
What's up les amis, j'espère que vous allez bien. Ça prend énormément de temps pour produire des podcasts. Donc j'apprécierais énormément si vous pouvez smasher le bouton like, commenter, laissez-moi savoir ce que vous avez appris de cet épisode et surtout partager avec les autres courtiers hypothécaires. Donc aujourd'hui, je commandite officiellement cet épisode. Pour les gens qui ne me connaissent pas, je suis un courtier hypothécaire qui travaille beaucoup avec d'autres courtiers hypothécaires. Donc, j'aide à trouver des solutions pour vos dossiers, que ce soit du alternatif ou privé. Vous pouvez me consulter et je peux être extrêmement efficace pour vous et pour vos clients. Alors maintenant, pourquoi utiliser mes services versus directement travailler avec des prêteurs? Il y a plusieurs raisons. La première raison, c'est que je sauve énormément de temps. Vous avez peut-être 1, 2, 3, 5 dossiers dans une année où vous avez besoin d'utiliser un prêteur privé ou un prêteur alternatif. Alors, ça va prendre plus de temps pour trouver une solution versus m'appeler et je vais être en mesure de vous aider tout de suite, trouver une solution tout de suite, car je fais une centaine de dossiers dans une année. Deuxième raison, votre client va avoir la meilleure solution pour sa situation. Étant donné que j'envoie plein de dossiers à mes prêteurs alternatifs et privés, je suis capable de demander certaines exceptions et d'être rapide, soit sur les conditions, soit sur le taux d'intérêt. Dernièrement, votre client reste votre client. Je m'occupe seulement de la partie alternative ou privée. Lorsque le client va devoir retourner vers les banques, comme vous savez, les solutions alternatives ou privées, c'est seulement des solutions à court terme. Donc, lorsque le client va devoir retourner vers les banques, vous reprenez le client. Il y a tellement d'autres avantages de travailler avec moi. Appelez-moi, vous n'allez pas regretter. Appelez-moi sur Solution et je vous souhaite une excellente journée. Bon épisode. So, for a new broker that was listening to this, like, he doesn't have the money to hire another one, another person to work on the file, what would you say to them to give a great service to the brokers and the partners?
So that's a touchy one, because you're, like I said, you're most of the time, you're a new broker, you'll be scared to take that leap of faith and hire someone. But I can tell you that if you see your business for 2 or 3 months where it's consistently busy, and you can project yourself being busy for the next year, that means that your business is growing and you got to feed it. So, and that investment there, see, if you're working more than 12 hours a day, you need an assistant. If you're actually working, I'm not talking about sitting in front of a computer and just
going on
if you're
Facebook.
Actually working, literally working 12 hours a day, you need an assistant, because you're already working more than the 8 or 9 you should. Because the next morning you're going to be tired. You won't be as productive. It's going to slow you down. It's actually an investment in your business to hire someone if you're working that many hours, because you're slowing down your productivity. You can't do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And I would notice that when I would work all those 16-hour days, I was there, but my mind was not sharp, man. I was exhausted. I couldn't function I was dead tired, man. I needed the staff. So what I would tell someone, get yourself an assistant. If you see yourself where your day is so filled where you cannot put more in it, you need an assistant. So you have to hire someone.
Yeah.
You have to take that leap of faith, because if you continue the same routine where you're developing and you're working and you're feeding your assistant, now you have 2 people doing the job. It's gonna grow. Yeah. 2 people will do more things.
Especially if you're in the business of prospecting and not processing, and the processing you can delegate.
Yeah.
Like if everything you did, you had enough business, so you need to work 12 hours. Imagine if you hire someone and you can cut down like from 12 to like maybe 8, 7, 6 hours, and the rest of the day you don't just slack. You actually work, but
Correct.
you continue prospecting.
That's right.
Imagine how many more business you will receive.
You have to do so. Yeah, that's what I tell people. If you're gonna hire an assistant and say, "Oh, my assistant's doing everything," and turn on the tube, watch TV, your business is gonna drop fast. You have to replace your time with something else. You have to replace it with something productive.
Yeah,
like solicitation. And it's as simple as that. When I remember we had meetings at the bank, we used to sit in the round table. For me, it was like when you become a mortgage broker, a mortgage specialist, where does your business come from, man? Brokers.
Yeah.
It's like the only place that you'll get a file is a broker, really, at the beginning. Later on, you'll get from your clients a repeat. So I had people giving me different strategies. Like we would all share our strategies, and like 2 out of 10 would say brokers. I was like, but like some people say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to my my mom's, my parents' work or whatever." Other people would say, they would talk to insurance brokers and accountants, but those guys are not really dealing with clients.
They're not in the business of real estate.
The real estate agents are doing real estate transactions all the time. Those are the people that are going to feed you, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I get my private lending business from not realtors, mortgage brokers. Because they're the one who knows
the business.
They're in the business of mortgages, because they know which file doesn't go through. And like I like sometimes I talk about private lending to realtors, but they don't know as much as mortgage brokers. So same for you. Like you are focusing on realtors, and that's what everyone should do. But now the question is, how do you keep that realtor? And by saying that, by working hard, be quick, closing the deals, right?
Yeah, if you can, if you can, of course, right? Obviously. You can't close them all. Yeah, and the realtors have to understand that. But if it's your first transaction with them,
it's all about communication at the end of the day. If you can tell them why it's not closable, like you'll understand. Yeah. And maybe
some will, some won't. Most I've noticed that most people are rational and logical.
And something I always say to a new broker that comes in is, select your brokers. Tell me if you agree with that. Like, don't just work on the volume and just talk to any other realtors, because I feel like I need to have a good time with this realtor. If this realtor doesn't have the same mindset, the same vision, is disrespectful, he doesn't appreciate the work, I don't want his business, because his clients will also the clients that he's gonna give me is gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that? Like,
to a certain degree, I do agree with you, but I don't necessarily love all the realtors I work with. I'm saying I don't hate them either. So what I mean is,
it's a raw podcast, man.
Sometime I'll just be neutral for me. It's like, okay, this person calls me not because they know me personally, or they may know me a little bit personally, but they like my work. You know what I mean? So and I like I've had realtors that have been great, and the same realtor that's been horrible, like let's say the following week or the month later. So I do agree with a certain extent. If there's a pattern of a real estate agent, it's just like always problematic files, and always coming last minute with a file, or like that, I wouldn't deal with.
Yeah.
Probably I'd probably say no.
In certain point,
but at the same time, I would say that I leave the door open for because we need them, right? Without them, we are nothing.
I'm just saying select the ones.
Select. Yeah, I am selective. I think selective is great, but with a little bit of more of an open door. Yes, more than a no.
Okay, I feel you.
Yeah.
And tell me about, like, now that you're a broker.
Yeah.
You should have been a broker for a long time.
Yeah.
I know how you didn't see all the advantage we have. You know,
and disadvantage. Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
As a mortgage broker now, how do you feel about our business?
Yeah.
And tell me what's the advantage that you feel like we have.
Advantage. Okay. As we're starting with advantage.
Yeah,
okay. Advantages are, I find we're really advantageous with insured deals. Insured deals are great.
Insured deals. Okay. Yeah. Why is that?
Insured rates are great. Like we have First National 199, and most lenders are on insured deals are a higher rate.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a quick turnaround time. So like again, I'll give you the First National example, 24 hours for a file to get an approval. That's quick.
Yeah.
Most lenders are at least a week minimum, right?
Minimum. And there's some that are 20 days now.
Yeah. So the advantage of a broker is they know you can take your deal somewhere else, so they'll try and give you a little bit of a better service. When you're a mortgage specialist, you got one credit center, and if they're delayed, they're late. You cannot go to BMO. You're working with TD, or you're working, you're dealing with them, and you gotta tolerate whatever it is. If there's a product change, you gotta tolerate it. You cannot shift your business. You gotta accept all the changes of the bank, right?
Give me a second.
Yeah.
So I have a great question.
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
So there is some few realtors I talk to. I'm like, hey man, I feel like mortgage, especially they're faster. The turnaround time is faster. And is it like something that you guys are known for? Like, because sometimes
They tell you that mortgage specialist faster.
Yeah, is it true? Is it
right now? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Right now, I would say no. Some of the banks I know, including the one I used to work with, is 2 to 3 weeks for turnaround time now.
Yeah, I guess like it's time. If it's depends of the time where you're sending the business, when and which bank you're sending the business, right? Because like if you send to like let's say a bank that take 20 days because they're overloaded with businesses, obviously it will take time. But like you said, First National, they're 24 hours.
24 hours. Yeah, I mean, you can also talk like some lenders that we have are. I think that on the broker channel we have the most. It would be okay. You can have 3 weeks, 4 weeks for a refi with some lenders. Yeah. But you also have the option to select another lender that's 4 or 5 days. But you may not get the same rate as the lender that you're sending it to there. So the choice becomes the customers. Do you want to wait 4 weeks or you want to wait 5 days?
So we do have more option. We can be faster. It's just a matter of which bank are you working with, and that bank. Do they how much time did they take?
That's right.
To finalize the file.
Yeah.
So it's not true from coming from a number one mortgage specialist.
Yes, sir. No, for sure. Yeah, you gotta. That's right. You have to educate the customer. They don't know, right? They're gonna give you the file and expect you.
Even realtors, man. Even
the realtors. Yeah. Some realtors are. Well, why do you choose for again? Let's use First National as an example. Because they're quick, because they have good rates.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna make you happy quicker than maybe some other lenders at this moment. Doesn't mean they're always the best, but right now they're pretty good, right? So that's what I do. I position myself to avoid the headache of being late and someone calling me 2 weeks down the line and saying, "Hey man, I don't have an approval."
But if you have no choice of going with Desjardins or Scotia or whatever lender, and that the lender is very the delay time is so long, you don't have no choice. You need to understand.
That's right. So Desjardins, if there's a Desjardins file, we all know the delays. They're bad, man. Like they're bad
at the moment.
At the moment, they're bad in terms of delays. Yeah. But they're also a good solution bank.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of positive points. Then that's why people wait for them, because they say, well, you know what, Desjardins will approve this deal based on their policy, and they're a great option, right? So some people will say, I don't have a choice. I'll wait 4 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
The option is the delay is. So it's you know what it's like, right? You have to. For me, I try to educate my client before I send the deal. If they want to go to Scotia, I tell them how long it's going to take approximately.
Yeah.
Desjardins, same thing.
We have choices. We have good rates.
We have good rates. Yeah.
So what else do you like about being a broker now?
I like the fact that I don't have anybody really telling me what to do. So when you work for a big institution, you have to follow certain rules that change. Like they always change. The banks come up with different rules, and you become somewhat of an employee, even though you're on commission, self-employed, you would call it, but you're still an employee of the bank. You still have to follow certain rules that are maybe not fun to follow, and maybe a little bit restrictive. I would say. So as a broker, you don't have that. You do whatever you want, pretty much. You can advertise on Facebook, for example, or on Google. I don't have to ask permission to do certain things.
Yeah.
The banks, you do, because they have, you represent them, and it's a little bit different. I'm not saying they're better or worse. I had some great years at TD, really good years. And for me, it just I grew the model, and it was time for something else, man.
Okay. And what's the darker side about our business?
The harder parts, you mean?
Yeah.
So the harder parts, I would say that it's tougher to get people to know you at the beginning because they don't know who you are. You're kind of new in the game, and there's a lot of different lenders. So you're like, if you're dealing with 7 lenders, you got to have a lot of files for them to kind of like understand who you are, and build yourself like a reputation and a relationship with these lenders. It's going to take a lot of time. So and the harder part is, I find that maybe because of past brokers, they're a little bit tougher on certain things like compliance and stuff like that. And what else is tough?
What do you mean by compliance?
Like sometimes they'll ask for extra documents more than what we need.
But that's something that it could be avoided by asking upfront all the documents to
exactly.
the client, right?
Yeah, but then you got to know all the policies by heart, and you got to know what lenders do what. It's really hard to know every intricate detail of every single lender. For example, what lenders ask for, a DSC? What's their debt servicing on a rental property? Some lenders have, some lenders don't.
Yeah.
What is the offset you use on this lender versus that lender?
Yeah.
You have to know all that stuff. And what is the minimum beacon score for this lender? That which lender takes child benefit, Quebec and federal, up to what age? These are all things like, how the hell would you remember all that stuff? It's so hard to remember when you have 10 lenders, man. You got to really remember all the details, right?
It's with experience and just submitting every file and
taking notes.
Take notes.
Yeah, take notes.
And having a system, especially if you're working with the cabinet that has a good system, and where you can just Google it in their system. Hey, what age?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's something that.
But then you have to know how to use that system too, right? So you got to learn. Everybody has their own system. You got to learn Filogics. That we have Velocity at the DLC, so it's a different platform completely. Then Velocity has its own little details of where you enter this information, where do you look for that, how the ratios get calculated.
Every lender has their platform to submit the files.
Exactly. It's great. There's a lot to learn. A lot to learn.
And how are you managing that right now?
I have a great team, and because of my team, I'm able to elevate myself to just do what it is that I want to do, which is be on the phone and manage the files.
Yeah.
And manage where it's going where. And I don't even know how to use Filogics. Put it that way. I don't know how to use it.
Maybe in a couple of years, or let's say we do it again next year.
No. I've made it clear from the beginning. I do not want to know how to use Filogics nor Velocity, which is where we enter our files. That is not my job.
So
I will never do it.
Just over the phone. You're just gonna work on
my job. Yeah, that's my job. Bring the files, figure out where we're gonna send what.
Business of prospecting.
Getting the files in. And the files get distributed by my
obviously
to my team.
For those who don't understand that it could be done, he's doing it because he knows the banks, and he knows the client, you know your partners.
Yeah,
so basically
I've learned almost everything. I would say there's a lot left for me to learn, but I've learned quite a bit.
As long as you know the solution and you tell your team, hey, submit the file at this bank, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
And at least the rates.
That's
you're
right.
pretty much done. So let's talk about the famous rates.
Rates? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you in the business of rates?
I think everybody is in that business, more or less, right?
Yeah.
Like clients, the first thing, what's your rate? What's your rate? The thing with a customer is they're always going to ask you that, right?
Obviously, yeah.
But then don't worry about the rate. Let's talk about the rate. Give me some information about your file first, because I've had this problem before where I've quoted, for example, the lowest rate. And then the file comes to me and it's like the hardest file ever. And I'm like, what? I don't even know why I bothered to take this file. Yeah. Right. So now I do the opposite. I ask, what type of file do you have? Explain to me what it is that you want to do. Is it a rental? And then I start to give them options on banks. And, I tell them this bank here, for example, will give you this rate, but they may take a month or they may not even approve you because they're very hard. This bank has a slightly higher rate, but they're a lot more flexible or based on your situation. So we're all in the business of rates at the end. I never tell them, I can't get you a good rate. But there's always a secondary part where not everybody would qualify for that particular rate because it would depend on, the file and how easy it is and if it's insured, right? Insured, right?
Yeah.
So I try and ask, when I'm asked a question on the rate, I try to fire back with, okay, what's your story? Tell me your situation and I'll see if you qualify for the lowest,
So for those who are listening to this, always turn around and ask what's your situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the situation is difficult to get that rate, it's easily explainable because the client knows that he just explained to you, and you're telling him, hey, for that reason you can't get that rate.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Right?
that's right. Exactly. Well, there's another part. I mean, I had a customer. This happened to me so many times. Instead of 1.4, let's say he got 1.5 on the variable. But that particular customer, and I remember this one example, was paying. He had 60,000 of unsecured debt that he was paying minimum on those unsecured debt. The minimum was 12%. So it was between 12 and 18. So the customer said, I want my rate to be 1.4 instead of 1.5. I couldn't do it because we had a 30-year amortization. They increased the rate by 0.10. So my answer to this person was, you didn't care this whole time that you paid $60,000 at 12%. Now you care. Now I'm going to save you about $10,000 a year, and you care about the $20 extra you're going to pay a month. Come on, let's be serious. So
yeah,
that's how I try to. That's
so you're the expert. The client, for in his lifespan, he maybe did one mortgage or two, and he doesn't know everything, right? So you're the expert. You need to make him understand
big
and listen.
Picture. They gotta look at the big picture. You just save $10,000 a year. If you're paying $20 more a month for you to save $20,000 a year or $10,000 or whatever, then
what I understand, Louis, is you're solution oriented. So basically, yes, you do talk about the rates, you do talk about the banks and stuff like that, products, but you also look at the whole picture. And especially when you do that, and you can easily bring values by doing that. Let's say consolidating and stuff like that. The client doesn't need the rate anymore. Obviously, you will find a good rate, but he wants the solution.
Correct. That's right. That's sometimes a client doesn't even know he wants a solution. He's just calling you because he wants to refinance, or for example, and he's going to fall into that rate conversation where it's more or less everybody has the same rates, more or less.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's, sir, ma'am, we just did this whole transaction for you. It took time, evaluations, paperwork. You just saved yourself X amount of dollars per month, per year.
Yeah.
That's really what this transaction is about.
Yeah.
Right. That's the big picture. It's like you're focusing on pennies when you have big dollars right here, Yeah. And a lot of people start to really think about that. I find when you got to open up their eyes, but it's like human nature. Everybody's inclined to ask about rates. It's normal. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, sure. And what about, did you learn about like the Manulife One product?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did one. Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah. Oh man, this is good.
You mean the equity product?
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
We tried it with a customer one time and it didn't work. I don't remember why, but I like the actual product itself is interesting.
You can pay your mortgage faster.
Yeah. Oh, you mean that one where you're paying?
Yeah, actually, like they change your mortgage to a line of credit and then.
Yeah. Okay, that one. Okay, I'm not a big fan of it.
You're not? No. You're not? Why?
Because at the end of the day, it's a home equity line of credit.
Okay.
So the customer can just deposit their. So essentially, is what they're doing is they're using the home equity line of credit to do transactions, right? Meaning, I'm using my home equity line as my checking account.
Okay.
That's as simple as that. You can program that at the bank. So you go to the bank, and you tell them, look, here's my debit card, and I want to program my debit card to be my checking account. So when I go shopping, I use my checking account. And then you go give your checking account information or your line of credit account to your employer. So your employer deposits your pay directly into your line of credit.
Yeah.
That can happen too.
But the thing is, not a lot of people knows that and do it, Like
not a lot of people know
habits are difficult to change.
Correct. Yeah.
And what the product does is automate the whole
it
process.
Automizes it, and it's a niche for them.
Yeah.
It's a product that they sell. I've never sold it though so far.
Okay, well,
who knows?
Yeah, because there is a one client like I do like really few a lending, but I do have some calls, and just to give you the story, and this client had like $14,000 of penalty with Desjardins.
Yeah,
and he wants to refinance.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't get a better rate because Desjardins were aggressive on the rate. And he has to stick with the Desjardins to save the penalty.
Okay.
So what I did is I went with Manulife One, and I saved up like more than $44,000 and paid his mortgage within 15 years. compared to 25 years.
Oh, okay.
I could save the deal. So saving the deal mean I could do the deal. Otherwise, no other bank could do it. And on top of that, I saved a lot of interest rate for the client.
For the customer, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, yeah. I mean, it's
I mean,
still a good product.
I know you're starting to learn all the products, and
Yeah.
maybe thank me later.
Like I said, like this is the important part where I sat down. I've learned, like, the person that started showing me brokering is not really a broker. He's like more of a real estate agent that has a brokerage office, and he was so knowledgeable on certain things
Yeah.
that he showed me. So my like, even for you, what you just told me, I'm gonna remember it. So
Yeah.
it's all about taking information and using it when you need it.
Yeah.
To benefit the customer, and then if you benefit the client, you benefit yourself because you've provided them a service. You get paid for it.
Yeah, that's the advantage of being a broker. Sometimes
Yeah.
we're not on the rate, we're on the product, and we're on the solution side. We're able to give great solutions. Let's talk about, like, now you're a broker.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the number one again?
Look, it's a good one. It's a good one. I to be honest with you, I thought about that one myself.
Yeah.
I know I can be if I want to. Like, I believe in myself to that extent. I don't know if I'm going for that right now because I've proven a lot over the years, and I'm 41 now. I have 2 kids. I want to see them a little more often, and I'm looking for a little bit more of a balance. But it's in my blood, man, to really want to be like the
ambitious
best
guy. Huh?
Yeah, it's in my blood. So because of that reason, I don't know where that's gonna lead me, but my priorities have changed a little bit in terms of career. Meaning, it's super important to me. It always will be, but family is also
definitely. And if you wanted to become number one, will you change anything that what you did before, or is it gonna be the same path?
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
The pattern works, and it's gonna work because it's robotic. I have the same routine. I develop business.
So what you're saying, Louis, people who are listening to this, if they apply what they're just saying, they have the chance of becoming a great broker, because nothing
absolutely. I don't think I have anything special in particular.
Yeah.
Besides my work ethic and my personality that's helped me along the way, and of course I'm a smart guy too, but like all these things combined, I was never a genius. I was a very hardworking guy. That's what got me here. I was organized, and I cared about my job. You have to care. If you do not care about your work, if you don't like it, you will not succeed, because it's not natural to you. It's something you're forcing yourself all the time. It's not fun. For me, it was fun. I didn't mind. Like, I didn't care about waking up early. Like, sometimes it was stressful. I didn't really enjoy those moments, but I still enjoyed who I was, who I became, and it was a crazy experience, man. And it's not over yet. So I'm still going. I can still go. I just don't know how hard I'm gonna go. That's the only thing. For me, it's still up in the air right now. I'm undecided, but I'm still busy, man. So we did, in our first. I did about $50 million already in this year, and it's just
50 million. Wow! And how many months again?
Just 5 or 6 months, man.
Crazy, man.
So it's a lot of money, It's a lot of volume for a new broker.
Yeah.
So we're still doing very well, but I'm not gunning for anything in particular. I just really.
I'm sure you could do at least 100 million.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Oh yeah, that's not even number one. Like that's. I'm saying no, that's not even number one. I'm saying, like, that's a lot of volume
for a broker. It's a lot. It's
a
little harder to do the volume as a broker
Yeah.
than it is as a mortgage specialist, I find, because the brand helps you get repeat clients and stuff like that. But
so before
we'll
I have a couple more questions.
Yeah.
So like we say that money's in the list database. Like, do you what are you gonna do, and what did you do to work on your database? Like, did you do anything special? Email marketing, some kind of calling back?
Zero.
This guy.
So I did not use my database at all for the last 11 years. I did not call anyone ever from my database. All I did was call realtors.
Yeah.
And answer my phone and execute files, because the last 5 or 6 years I didn't have I was so busy. It was too like normally you call a database when it's quiet, right?
Yeah.
It was never really quiet. It was crazy, man. It's been a crazy decade for me.
Wow.
So I never got to that to needing my database for business because my phone it was like people know my phone number now and they trust me for files.
Is
and
it
stuff
something
like
that you're gonna work on, or
if it gets quiet, it will for sure. It's guaranteed, but it's not quiet yet, and we're still busy. We're occupied, and
yeah? This is what I like about this podcast is every time I invite people, they have different perspective, and most of them they said that they're working on their the database,
Database?
and you said you
Really?
said
Yeah?
yeah
Okay.
yeah, but that's crazy. Like how you can still succeed without working. Obviously, it will help you. I'm 100% sure. Like I sent an email on with to all my people. At least I had one deal.
Yeah,
At
one
least
deal, yeah.
every time I send
I
an
gotta
email,
try it then because I
I'm pretty sure if you automate everything, like you don't have to call them, right? You just have to like
automate it.
automate it.
Yeah. No, listen. It's something. It's been discussed already.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's. We'll see. But as of now, I haven't done it.
You don't need it.
I don't need it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't need it.
I didn't need, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. We're almost done. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for all this knowledge you're sharing with us. How do you keep yourself motivated every day? Because it's a challenging job, stressful.
Yeah.
Anxiety comes in,
Yeah.
a lot of responsibility. Brokers are all over your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how do you keep yourself motivated?
It's more about it's a good one, man. Like it's the high. I always say you have the highest highs and the lowest lows, man. Like when things are bad, they're really bad, and when they're good, they're so good. It's like you're so happy because you helped somebody get a mortgage and it was difficult, and you got them their first home, and everybody's happy. And then there's the opposite that happens. There's a problem at the notary, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like I had something today where a client didn't pull out their RSPs on time, and now they're the notary doesn't, that's just something that happened. She's stressed out because she didn't know that she had to pull out her RSPs. And anyway, so that's
I'm sorry. What did you do? What's the solution?
There's no solution. She has to wait because she's got to go.
So we're gonna push the notary
She has
date?
She has to push the date.
Yeah.
There's no other solution. So that's stuff that sucks. Well, how do I keep myself motivated? Because I like this job and love it so much, and I don't see myself doing anything else. I try to make myself enjoy it, and I do enjoy it, and I like the challenge. For me, it's the challenge of reproving myself, reinventing myself, because as a mortgage specialist, mortgage broker, completely different job. That's what I really believe. That it's so different, man. And you got to reestablish relationships, all that stuff. So how do I keep motivated? It's more in the individual. I find like if you have a motivated person, chances are you're going to keep being motivated. But this is definitely a humbling experience when you're going from this big mountain of being the king of the mountain to all of a sudden you got a new mountain to climb and you're at the bottom, because you got to try and get to the top if you want to, of course. But you got to, there's a lot of other guys or girls and guys going on climbing that mountain with you. So you got to reprove yourself and stand out in a different crowd now. So it's the challenge for me is fun, and it's an interesting change, but I did it before, man.
Yeah.
So because I did it before, I'm a little more confident. The first time around, I did not know. I have never done something like this before.
Yes, sure. And for maybe a mortgage specialist who's listening to this,
yeah,
and he wants to maybe jump in the other side,
yeah,
what would you say to him?
Don't give up, man.
To prepare himself.
Okay, so you gotta obviously have a plan, and your plan should be to contact realtors. As simple as that. If that is not part of your plan, you're in the wrong business. So number one plan is you have to call realtors, man.
Talk to realtors.
The number one plan's got to be you have to incorporate realtors into your business, because that's where you're gonna get them up front. There's so much friends and family you can target. You got to go out the outside world, and that you're gonna get access to the outside world through a real estate agent. Yeah. Through their contacts, their friends, their family, their clients. Yeah. And so you got to treat them well and make sure you deliver. And then after that, you got to make sure you keep a certain pattern of your daily routine if you want to be successful. Yeah. Like if you're going to work from 9 to 5, don't leave the office. Yeah. Don't go anywhere and work. Yeah. 3-hour lunches. There's no need. Like if everybody's different, and you can have those if you like. but you are not going to be successful if you have 3-hour lunches. You will be average, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's a choice. And it's more about what you put into it, man, like anything else, the fruits of your labor, you know, and
you got to be healthy also, right?
healthy. Oh yeah, 100%, man. You cannot, you know, it's, yeah, that's another topic. It's very important, actually.
Do you do any sports or?
I have a very like routine. In the morning, I have a shake every morning, which is like a big fruit shake.
What kind
Like
of bulb do you have?
it's a big tall one. I have a fruit shake because I need my mind has to be focused. So I don't eat like a lot of bread and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or any like hamburgers for lunch. I won't have that. It's gonna kill my day. This, you know, after lunch, if you guys tired after lunch, you eat the wrong lunch. That's something I learned. Your lunch you should feel energized after you eat. You know, when you go, yeah, I'm tired or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because you ate a hamburger with a big piece of bread and it's digesting in your stomach. But if you eat a piece of chicken and a salad, you are not gonna be tired after lunch. You're gonna feel the exact opposite. And you should not be tired. Imagine you're feeding your body, and then you're tired. You ate the wrong thing. So
especially in the middle of the day. While you're
in the
working,
middle of the day, yeah.
Hamburger.
That's right. So I would have stuff like that after work if I feel like
Yeah.
it. Where I don't need to be as productive, but during the day I'm very even careful what I put to my body just because of work.
Being a broker it's almost like you're an athlete. You know,
Yeah.
You gotta deliver every day. You gotta be
mentally there, man. You can't take a day off, even, right?
Yeah.
You take a day off?
Not yet.
I can't take a day off, man. I have so many problems waiting for me to.
I force myself sometimes, you know, family.
Yeah.
But it's really hard. It's really hard.
It's
like
very hard.
if you want to work every day, you could.
You can. Yeah. There's always something.
Yeah, there's always something.
But it's also hard, I find, to take a full day off because there's so much that happens during that day that your next day is completely screwed.
Yeah. Like
right?
What is really helpful for us is the weekends. We can make it. Banks are not open, and you can chill a little bit more.
Relax. Catch up to work.
Catch up the work.
Yeah.
But during the week, forget it.
Forget about it.
Like this is something like when I started being a mortgage broker, I saw someone who was working in Vietnam, and I have them. Damn, you could be a mortgage broker and work from anywhere in the world. And now we realize that it is bullshit because because of course you could. But man, what's the point of going to the Dominican Republic and just being on the beach and just answering calls? No,
it's gonna be hard to give your laptop and documents on the beach in Dominican.
Forget it.
But you can work from Florida, for example, because you have the same time zone. You can lock yourself into a beautiful
Miami,
condo
baby.
facing the water.
That's my city.
Miami?
Miami. I love Miami.
Yeah, it's a nice city.
If I were somewhere else, that will be Miami.
Yeah.
Miami, man. I'm a brown guy, bro.
I think you'd survive there, man.
What do you mean?
You'd go crazy, man. We'd lose you.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You'd get swallowed up by Miami.
I love Miami, man. And it's a very ambitious city, you see building the money, you're just motivated. Like, I'm on fire when I go there. Like, I feel like the question I ask myself when I go there, what am I fucking doing, man? I got to do more. Like, look at these guys, like states, like these guys are in another planet. Like,
yeah. Well, listen, we're not too far away. The States is more business oriented, but they have more people too. Don't forget. Yeah. And there's a lot of people coming in Miami from all over the world investing there too. So there's money coming in from different places. It's not the same as in Quebec, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, quick questions.
Yeah. Okay,
and we're done after that. I know you're a busy man.
So are you.
So tell me, what is your favorite quote? Like, if there was one quote, then what would it be?
I don't really have a quote. I would just say the only thing that, like, when you said that, the first thing that came to mind is don't give up, man.
Don't give up.
Yeah. My brother became a broker about 5 years ago, and I said, George, this is like a boxing ring. You're gonna walk in, you're gonna get a beating, you're gonna get knocked down. Because the lenders are going to hit you in the face, the client, the realtor, you're going to take all that. It's hard to deal with, but you got to get back up there the next day because the next morning you're going to have that beautiful file that's going to be so smooth and you're going to feel so good about it. Or even that difficult file that got finalized that, you're like, finally, what a relief. So that feeling itself, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. The brokers know what I'm talking about. That feeling is so good, man. It's especially when you work like a month on a deal, it's difficult. And you're solving a problem for a customer too, and and you're adding value to their life and taking them away from a problem like debt or whatever, it's rewarding. It's a rewarding feeling.
And especially like when you're calling the client again, and then they're so thankful.
Yeah.
And they even take time to write a fucking review, Google review.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Did you get that?
I swear to God.
Okay.
Like I asked, like obviously when the client appreciate the work, and I always ask, and that's something you should do also, because man, Google, like everyone's on Google, like I don't know who's Kenny Shillingham, who's this fucking guy, and let me try to type his name, and 5-star. I'm trying to grow that. That's something you should do also, because now you're a broker. There's so much stuff that is different from
before. You're on your own. Like
if you need any help,
I remember. See, you're giving me advice today. I remember that. I honestly believe that no matter what, you can learn from anyone, man. You gotta have your ears open always.
So the day you think you're smart, that's the day you die.
Correct.
That's the day you fall.
That's right, man. That's right.
And taking the time to come here, and obviously share with everyone, and especially learn from maybe a guy like me, younger than you. No, I appreciate it. Like that's why you're number one. Boom, that's it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
No problem. And is there any book or podcast you listen beside mine?
Well, honestly, I like to spend my time looking at like leaders that talk about how successful they are. And I want to be careful with this, because people are successful with money sometimes and very unsuccessful in other things in life. We can't forget that. So a lot of people have this focus of billionaires. Some billionaires are great people and great family men and great friends. But if you are a billionaire or a millionaire or very successful and you have no friends and you got no family and you just work, to me, that's not like different definitions of success. But my definition would be someone who has all of it. You need to have friends. You need to have your hopefully a family if you can. And you need to have a balanced work life, not just be one successful in one area. Because if you spend your time 18 hours a day in working and don't have any friends or anybody to spend, then you're naturally going to be successful because you got nothing else to do, right? Yeah. But there's a balance for it. So I like to look at like guys. I'll give you an example. I was watching Dan Pena.
Oh man, this guy is fucking rough.
He's very rough. he's very rough.
Rough
but
grandpa.
Some of the things he says are true.
Yeah.
Right. And just because he says them a certain way doesn't mean they're not true, right? Yeah. He's like, he said something important that I really like. He goes, did Bill Gates and Steve Jobs hang out? When we say, I want to hang out, he goes, they didn't hang out. They were too busy to hang out. Yeah. Those guys did not hang out. When we say, I want to hang out,
they were really lonely. Yeah. Lonely people. Yeah.
They have very disciplined lives. They've sacrificed a lot, so we cannot judge people like that because they are very one-off people, right? Yeah. It's not.
They changed the world also.
They changed the world, and you can argue they didn't have much of a social life, but I mean, come on, it's hard to have a social life when you're that guy, and it's really hard to picture yourself being in their shoes because, like, here I am, a guy who was number one for 5 years. I had a hard time doing that. I can imagine these guys. So I like to listen to people like that because if they also give you, like Steve Jobs, when he died, he also said about what he missed out on and the things he regrets, like his health and stuff like that. So that's an important note too. And for me, those are people that I look at. I look at what they've done and what they say, and I also look at what they don't do well. You got to look at that part too. That's what I do.
Okay, love it, man.
Yeah,
autobiography. Like you study people
that I think are successful.
Great, man. Yeah. And last but not the least, the best. Yeah. Let's play a game.
Sure.
Wanna play a game?
Sure, man.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a word.
Yeah.
Tell me what's the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
Let's say I say games. You're like Monopoly. I don't know. Or competition. You'll be like domination. I don't know.
Okay,
like
cool.
That. All right.
Yeah.
So start about the easy one. Mortgage broker. How do you feel about mortgage broker?
Complicated life.
Okay. Competition.
Good.
Like competition. Okay. Family.
Most important.
Okay. Rates.
Second most important.
Penalties.
Too big.
Okay. And what about successful?
Well balanced.
All right, man. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Louis. I really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Cyril.
And yeah, thank you so much,
Are
brother.
we're allowed to shake hands?
Yeah, fuck it.
Can you say that?
Yeah, it's my podcast, man. And
Thanks
so
for having me.
Yeah, thank you so
Nice,
much.
man.
It's gonna help a
Yeah.
lot of brokers. It helped me. Just listening to you is just it's motivation, and I feel like I learned a lot of stuff just by just sharing, having this conversation. I think a lot of people should listen to this, apply this, not just listening, just applying also. That's super important. Some people just read books, listen to podcasts, but they don't do shit. It's important to apply. And like I said before, it's been a month I've been doing this. Not a month. What I'm saying, a year I've been doing this, and I'm in another place. Just because I listen and I apply. So whoever listening to this, please guys apply, and also don't forget to like. I'm a YouTuber, No, don't forget to like, comment, share it with us. What you learn? What did you learn from Louis with this conversation, and especially share with everyone else who might find this helpful. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Louis. Boom. We're done.